The world we once knew has been lost to shadow. Was it sundered in fire and brimstone? Drowned in flood and rain? Was it tragic decadence? A great fall? Unspeakable corruption? Or did the awakening of magic destroy our world? No one knows for certain. Reach through the shadowy mists. Find a fragment of land infested with shadowy corruption, yet lit enough to find your way. Find a creature of light, a sylph. They are friendly and willing to guide you. Perhaps the two of you can find other survivors. Perhaps this land can serve as a shelter. Perhaps together you can build a sort of haven. Forge friendships to save the world.
Hello, and welcome to the Unleash Games weekly playtest, where you join me, Irina, CEO of Unleash Games, live as we play through the latest build of our game, Haven, Forge Friendships to Save the World. Haven is a family-friendly cooperative role-playing game set in a fresh fantasy universe where shadow and chaotic magic has shattered reality, and it's up to humanity to band together to rebuild the world piece by piece once again for us all to thrive together. Haven came as a collaboration between myself and other developers of games like World of Warcraft, The Witcher 3, Kingdoms of Amalur, we'll get to that later, and many other incredible games. Rocket League, I can't remember all of the list. Come on, that's a whole library. RuneScape. Our team has been making these types of MMOs, as we like to call them, for the last 25 years. And we think that there's a great game hidden inside of that format that is a little bit more accessible and a little bit more fun than what we've experienced before. Because MMOs started off as the ultimate playground for you to play with your family and friends. But soon after like World of Warcraft came to market, it became more about min-maxing your gear spec and, you know, finding the right, like the right items to min-max your class, your talent trees, and the high-level rating guild that you would work with multiple times a week in order to be able to farm gear for everybody else on the team. That was not necessarily the most fun because it was more about climbing a ladder than actually going on adventures with friends. And so we've built Haven to kind of change the script a little bit and make the game again more about working together, more about the social gameplay, less about whether or not you're going to go and get this specific piece of loot, and more about what dungeon you're going to hit and what boss you're going to take down because it's hard. So in 2023, we made this game. We actually raised $1.3 million. We got into Andreessen Horowitz's Speedrun Accelerator in the first cohort, and we raised that money and built the game that you see here today. We have a prototype. This is not a game that is ready for launch. This is an early build of what we think is the most fun version of the game. But we built this very specifically to focus on the gameplay itself, the experience, the fact that it can play. I'm going to play on a Mac today. We have folks that'll play on Windows. It's playable on a phone. Yes, it is fully cross-platform. We built all this difficult infrastructure long before we made it exactly like the look, the vibe, and even the story of what we are aiming for, because that we wanted to take with care, that we wanted to build around the fun experience and build a world that you all would find worth living in. Because lore, at the end of the day, is what makes or breaks really, really great projects. And in fact, the lore was what hooked me on one of my favorite projects that I've ever gotten to work on that nobody will ever see. Because in 2008, I was pulled away from working on World of Warcraft by a baseball player to move out to Massachusetts, actually Maynard, Massachusetts. I had no idea where that was. With my fiance at the time, we moved across the country to go work on the greatest video game to ever be made. And Kurt Schilling was so excited about bringing me onto the team. There was a whole press release about it. And we were making what we at the time called Project Copernicus. And it was this grand collaboration between our dev team and what Kurt said was the best of the best. And it quite genuinely was a team of the best in video games coming together with legends like R.A. Salvatore, you know, creator of Drizzt and Forgotten Realms, Guinevere, Panther, all of the great characters and the stories that helped us fall in love with D&D in the first place. And Todd McFarlane, creator of the incredible Spawn and the McFarlane line of toys, coming together to make what we thought was the coolest damn game that you could ever imagine. And we built it. And it was partly because of the genius of the person who is my guest today. Y'all, we have my dear friend Scott Cuthbertson on stream with us. And Scott was actually one of the earliest members at 38 Studios. And he was also really instrumental in collaborating with R.A. Salvatore, Bob, as we all affectionately call him. He worked with Bob and Gino and Brian, the Salvatore trio, on formulating this world where the history and the lore reached 4,000, I think even more years, maybe even 13,000. I don't know. We'll get into that. But Scott is also, like, don't get me wrong, like his work at 38 is legendary, and I wish you all could deep dive with me. But he also has a very, very deep resume going back. I think I said on my post about the stream that I think Scott is responsible for producing all of our childhoods. And not to age him or anything. Scott, please welcome to the stream. It's so great to have you.
Hi, 35 years now, which means I started.
You are a legend.
I started
Simply
in the
a
industry when I was
legend.
4, so it's good, No, thank you. That was very nice of you.
Well, Scott, when I first joined 38 and I heard that you were on the team, I was like, that dude, that guy is here, because again, you were one of the key, the cornerstones of that best of the best team that Kurt was
When I heard
assembling.
that you were going to be talking about 38, I just had to make sure that in the early days, it was known as Green Monster Games. With a little bit of collision with the Boston Red Sox, we changed the name to 38, which is Kurt's number. And in honor of that, we had an ultimate Frisbee team that we played at lunchtime down at a little park in Sudbury, just south of Maynard. And we all wore these jerseys.
I almost wore mine.
Yeah, 20 years old, and it still fits like the day it was printed.
That's just a testament to you, my friend. Well done. Not all of us can claim such mad skills. I'm wearing my Reckoning t-shirt. Look at this. Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I thought I'd represent. We also...
It has been memory lane, because I did bring also a Green Monster Games t-shirt.
Nice.
We had baseball caps and fleece jackets, and that was the swag capital of the game.
We had so much swag. I have up here, I'm trying to work my way around the microphone. Oh gosh, the microphone is blocking it. Check out the Prismatic Troll, and this is the Reckoning art book. This is a little bit like beyond the time. This was like a thin slice of some of the lore that you had developed, but that was like the glory of what you all had done, is that we were able to reskin and build out Reckoning within Amalur like that. Like it was only a year.
It was a pretty cool collaboration. Yeah, I was gone from 38 by the time that came out, but yeah, being able to at least bring that magical IP in some capacity out to the world was fantastic.
What was your favorite thing? This is a hard question. What was your favorite thing about what we were building with Amalur?
By the way, can you hear the music? Because I'm running.
Yes.
I'm running the game minimized, and I want let me kill that, because I'm like, Irina, are you playing like theme music? I'm like, wait, that's me.
No, that's
all right.
you,
No
my
more
friend.
music. Sorry
Cheers.
about that. To me, it was that we started off building the world before we started building the game. And I will also caveat this conversation about saying that I'm completely unprepared. This is totally off the cuff. So
Yep.
you're hearing it straight from the source. And I'll also let you guys know that 20 years ago this October was when we had the first meeting in Boston with Kurt and the foundation of the company as it was getting rolling. So I'm going to try to dust off some old memories, but what we did is we created what we called a rich tapestry of content, 3,000 years of the history of this world, which is kind of Bob R.A. Salvatore's specialty, world building, in which we were only going to adventure in the last 3. So the whole cool thing about this is that we had all of this lore, and so when you went by ruins and statues and things, it all tied to a lore that you were never going to adventure in it. It was just all bringing that world to life. And so, and I'll also say I was only at 38 for the first 2 years. And my contribution, I knew before I left, I wanted to make sure that we had that Bible in place. Mm-hmm. And so, because my role there was called creative development. And so artists, designers, basically artists and designers, putting together the foundation of the whole thing. So yeah, the world was incredible. I mean, it was so deep and so rich, and unfortunately, Bob wrote some amazing stories that'll never come out, or maybe someday. we hope. But yeah, little vignettes and novelettes and stuff. I still remember working with Bob, and he had one of these little thumb drives on a necklace around his neck that he always wore, and never let anybody see his work because it was always on a thumb drive. So,
oh man, I wish we still had that.
Somewhere.
I told Scott that I would do something a little bit evil and also wonderful, in that I would share some of our concept art from Amalur and like ask him questions, because again, like you were there at the very beginning, and yet we went so deep in developing the world. I'm wondering if you'll even recognize some of these places.
Sarials, right there.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
that
Okay,
was
okay.
our halflings, our wine-loving halflings.
The wine-loving halflings. And these guys.
You got me on that one. I don't remember.
These are the Jotun.
Oh, that's a Jotun? Oh, I thought it looks like it looks like Ursula. Oh, I see. There's another character beneath her. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a Murchie piece right there.
It's actually Devin Caddy Lee. He joined the team. He later went on to go work at Blizzard on WoW and made some absolutely legendary images.
Doc Alfar. That's Alan Shear.
Yes, it is. It sure is.
Crush on her.
With good reason. How about this?
Concordia.
The capital city of Valiance.
The Alamein headquarters. There's a dam behind those wings.
There sure is, and a whole castle.
Very, very silly city design. One thing I definitely remember about, and beautiful in the fantasy world. One thing I remember about, well, I don't remember actually. Did we ever name it anything other than Copernicus, which was its code name?
It ended up being called Kingdoms of Amalur.
Well, okay, well that's good. I remember one of the things that was really cool about the design of the MMO was that at certain stages, the entire server would work together to either prevent a disaster or allow a disaster to happen. And based on that, the server would change. So
yes.
In one instance, that dam came down, that city was wiped out. In another instance, that dam was saved and that city stayed.
Depending on how the players.
Beauty of the design of that MMO was that every server was going to evolve differently. And the other hook was that it was going to end, which I also thought was really cool. That after 3 years, the game was over. And then you jumped on another server and you played it again in a different track. That was the idea anyway.
And what a revolutionary idea it was. How about this one?
That looks like, is that Doc Alfar City?
It sure is. And
I'm sure it was named Menzo Baranzan or something similar.
I forgot the name of it. Where are my Amalur fans to help me out?
Now that definitely is a Scott Duquette. I can tell by the lighting.
Oh, and the colors. Scott is absolutely incredible. What an artist. Here's a desktop wallpaper that we made of the Almain. We made them for every race.
That's very cool.
And check out the logo that we made.
Beautiful.
Inspired by the Orin from the Neverending Story.
And you can see a nice angle on the dam behind him of the 3D-ness of that angel. So beautiful. Yeah, I remember another really cool thing that we did in the design was we had iconic characters, historical iconic characters for each race. And Bob was actually writing a novelette on each one. So it wasn't just, the humans, the elves, the dwarves, whatever, or whatever we call the variants of them. But they also had personalities behind them. They had kings, they had heroes, they had villains, and stories. And a lot of times they were stories that happened, millennia before any time the characters were adventuring. So they turned into legends. So yeah, I'm sure I can't remember this guy's name or if I was even there when he was created, but
Tozev is helping us out that the city, the Doc Alfar city is Jotunhessen.
Yep.
That is correct, sir. Yes. Hold on, where did my preview screen go? Yeah, this is Jotunhessen, my friends. Here's another view of Jotunhessen. Gosh. Again, with the Jotun down below in the lower city, then the Doc Alfar in the upper city, and then there's also a underground city. It was so cool. Like the fly-throughs. There's like a world fly-through on YouTube where you can see what the world looked like. Here's the
Losselfar.
The Losselfar, the light elves. I've noticed that actually, as I've been working with Bob's Demon Wars IP, a lot of these similar like elven names and like race names persist because a lot of these names were all sourced based on real world terms, aren't they?
Yeah, very Tolkien-esque. Bob went back into a lot of lore, old lore, and pulled a lot of the names. What's interesting also that you've seen in in the time since 38 Studios went away is a lot of those folks that have drifted off to other game companies. You're starting to see little touches,
Oh, 100%.
little homages to what we were working on there. Lots of
Yeah, it still lives.
It does.
And this one of the classics.
Yeah, the Masarial Kingdom. I loved Bob's touch on this one, where every other leader of their forces was a king or a queen or some sort of powerful warlord. The leader of the Masarial was a sommelier. He was the top wine expert, and that's how he got to be the king, which I always thought was clever.
Which I think is missing from so many great IPs. Like, why is it that in stories that the default is that the people in charge are the most violent ones? Whereas that's where I think there was a subtlety with Amalur that is missing in a lot of world building, where like the goblins were super into invention and would turn scrap into really cool like upcycling. Like, yeah, there's Alan Shearer again, by the way.
She's so cool.
She is so cool. We built a whole cosmology, and we built some of the character creator around setting up your own like astrological chart, so you had signs. Yeah,
the zodiac idea was woven through a lot of it. Yeah, and the dragons.
Detier, actually, we have a zone in Haven that looks a little bit like this one. I love this, the Kingdoms of Amalur Travel Bureau.
I was going to say, it looks like a travel poster. That's very cool.
We did that for all the major zones. Here's the whole star map. By the way, just, again, absolutely stunning the amount of work that went into building the world for Amalur.
What was cool about that also is that those sort of event bosses that sort of turn the tide to the next chapter, they were designed to be massive cooperative, Shadow of Colossus kind of fights, but anybody could fight. So your level 1 folks were gathering ammunition, and your mid-level folks were setting up the weaponry, and then the high-level folks were doing the in-close fighting, and you could also let the boss dragons live, and depending on which ones you let live and which ones you destroyed, also changed the world. Pretty cool.
Tozeb says that Los Alfar and Dok Alfar is light elves and dark elves in Icelandic and Old Norse.
There you go.
Yes. So here's Port Miria.
Oh, so
it was actually one of the first cities that we built. We built Port Miria, and then we went into building Valiance. But like we did with WoW, we built Almir Valley. Wait, was that in EverQuest, or was that no that gosh, I can't even remember. But we had a core zone very similarly to the way that we structured WoW. WoW was first built around one basic starting area, and it was that way for like the first 5-6 years. And we just built classes and the characters and the animations. It was almost like a gym. We built all the first quests in that one zone. And so we did something very, very similar with Amalur, except we started adding cities and complexity. Here's another view of Port Miria.
If you go back to that picture for a second, I had a really vivid memory. So one of the things early on that we really wanted to nail in this game was what we called a signature style. It took us a very long time to nail whether it's the painterly textures, whether it's something like this when you're in Valiance or when you're in Port Miria, there's look at that building kind of center right. It's not straight. It's got a little wonkiness to it. It's got a little lived in feel to it. And I remember Todd would come into the office. So Bob, I'll call him Bob because he's Bob. He's Bobby.
He's Bobby.
Bob had an office there. Bob worked there, and so did Kurt. But Todd lived in Arizona, and he would come in once a month or so, and then he would also do at least weekly sessions with all of the artists via video conference. And I remember when Todd would come in with his influences, it was things like, when a horse is riding and makes a turn, it doesn't stay vertical and turn like this. A horse, has some motion to it. Or when a hippo steps on the ground, its feet spread out a little bit. I mean, there's like things that Todd brought in detail wise. But I remember Kari Sutherland, our environment lead. She did a brilliant thing one day, and I'll never forget it. And I've used it many, many, many times since. She said, "No computers today," to the team. And she put paper on all of the desktops. And the whole day was just, we've got to find the signature style of this game. And everybody just sketched on all the flat surfaces around the art department. It was really cool. And if you see that building right in the middle, not the one in the background, but in the middle, there's that sort of like the Dutch vibe going on there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who drew it. It might have been Scott. I can't remember.
I think Scott.
He drew this building. I think it was a church, and everyone was like, "That's it." And we started working on the style of that city, and then the game itself grew out of that one building. And I remember Todd back then had one of the first 3D printers, and we had a 3D printed model of that building because it was inspiring. And I believe it sat in the middle of the conference table. So everybody always, and then all those little dragons and the toys that Todd made were always around the office. But I remember that building and going back to that session when Kari did that sketching thing, and we just couldn't find it. That's it. That
there
building.
It is. I was looking for it.
And the whole company rallied around that picture. Isn't that funny? And then every land from that land had its own vibe, but it all had this same signature style. And no one was really doing it back then. I mean, maybe WoW and some other places. When you go into a game, bam, I'm in World of Warcraft. This was the one that said I'm in Amalur, for sure. Great memories.
Oh my goodness, yes. We did some amazing things. Here's another one of Port Miria, like the narrow hallways or the alleyways and the clothing hanging. Like that was another thing with the environments that we built. We wanted everything to feel lived in. That it wasn't just some like austere like piece of architecture. No, there were kids running around. There were small creatures. There was
people doing laundry.
People doing laundry, selling their wares. And we wanted like a sense of normalcy. Like Brian Labor went in and made languages for every single race. And he was an animator, but he was super into linguistics, and he deep dived and made these unique languages, which then the artists or the musicians turned into theme songs and like cultural anthems for the character races. Here's the Dvarga, the dwarves. And here's another take on the Amalur logo. It was going to be so good. Oh, so good. Here's that prismatic troll that I have on my ceiling. Here's the race lineup.
The Colossi. I remember that was a design challenge.
Yeah, just a bit. Just trying to get doors that would work for both player races. But like this was our art style. This is got Tom Eng written all over it.
Yeah, it does. Oh, the Crimble, I remember them. They were little.
Yeah, the little Crimble and the giant Jotun. We did not have player collision, by the way. That would have been evil. And the Messariel. There's a lot of Nick Cole in the design of the Messariel. We got this incredible artist from Rhode Island School of Design, who is now one of the most legendary like character art directors in games, Nick Cole. And he really polished out the Messariel and gave them so much unique character. It was so great.
And the Centaur playable race eventually went away, right?
Oh yeah, no, we never ended up with centaurs, but we teased Kurt constantly about that.
the banner. Do you know the story?
Goodness.
You know the story of the banner?
Tell this. No, you have to tell the story of the banner.
We were doing trade shows very, very early on, and someone did Scarajax. I'll never forget the name. Was this big burly centaur, and Scarajax became the this sort of tongue-in-cheek mascot of the game because Kurt wanted quadrupedal characters. And I remember Jason Roberts and other people saying, like, they can't climb ladders. They can't go inside places. You know, how are you
Nope.
going to have a centaur as a playable race? And there it was, maybe it was Green Monster Games, maybe it was 38, but then I don't remember. But I just remember that giant centaur was like on every piece of art for the first year. It's kind of like a joke, but it was cool. I think we actually kept Scarajax in as an iconic character.
Oh, we sure did. Actually, speaking of which, here's an old name, Eric Spire, musician from 38 Studio composer. He was just on LinkedIn and happened to pop in, and he's getting to see some. He worked with us at 38 Studios. He's really awesome, and he's enjoying the reminiscing. Tozeb also says the art style, the graphics, and everything was beyond anything at the time, and it would have blown WoW out of the water had it been released before Draenor. I agree. I mean,
I do not disagree. Yeah, it was special. It was big. I think for a startup studio, it was too big. maybe that was the issue. We tried to scope it down. I have a lot of stories about that, but the vision and, like you were saying, the class of people. I remember having meetings. It was like, we need an animator. Let's go get a guy from Phil Tippett Studios who makes, high-end motion pictures. We need, engineers. Let's get the best back-end guy in the world and the best client guy in the world. And I think we actually merged two middleware engines together to make the technology. And someone said, well, that can't be done. And it was one of the mics did it in like a day and a half and got the two engines running together. And I just remember the caliber of people that were coming in. I remember when Scott Duquette came in, he had just won the Blizzard fan art contest. And, out of thousands of entries, there was this crazy dark chapel with these chains and everything. And he was just coming out of college. And I remember thinking, yeah, we got him.
Yep. Yeah, the talent
and his character designs. Everybody was so good.
Oh, this is actually, I think, part of the starting zone when we built our first dragon. So we decided. So okay, backing up a little bit, the story of Amalur was that there were 12 dragons, and they were coming down. And the game started your like newbie experience when you created your character. You were landed in the middle of a dragon fight. And a dragon wasn't like a traditional dragon, like lizard with wings and 4 legs. Dragons always have 4 legs and then 2 wings. It's a rule. It's a wyvern if there's only 2 back legs and wings. Just clarifying that we're on the same page. Okay. So, but this was not a classic dragon. It was like this crazy creature that you couldn't quite describe, but they were all kind of like these fractured gods. Actually, Scott, you'd be a better person to kind of talk about the dragon story, but you were dropped into this dragon fight and you had to push back and hopefully defeat it. And then you were dropped into your newbie zone. And then within the first 6 months, a new dragon would come from space and land. And the entire server would have to come together to fight back against it. But what were these dragons, Scott?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
What were the dragons? Like, what did they mean? Why were there dragons coming to Amalur?
If memory serves, they were all in service to the great dragon, Tiamat, who would be the final world boss. And they each represented essentially the Zodiac, although that became a bit cliche. But I do remember them being, I remember the technical challenge of trying to put together something that big. I mean, Shadow of the Colossus had done it, and a few other games like God of War had mimicked big bosses like that. But it was definitely a server-wide event. And I think it came off of an old EverQuest idea a long time ago. I wasn't a big EverQuest player, but I remember hearing the legends of like, they put like a land out in the distance and they'd tell the servers, until you all build the bridge, you can't get to that land. So the whole server would have to come together and do these events to eventually get the bridge, and then it would open up this new land. It was kind of riffing off of that idea that the whole server needed to come together for these giant events, and the dragons were sort of the land, where they were
of the universe, the solar
of the
system.
universe. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And again, the scope of everything in this game was was sometimes beyond feasibility, and yet they pulled it off. They
We
really
had
did.
grand ideas.
Well,
But
every time we'd have a grander idea, they'd pull it off, and we'd have to make an even grander one.
well, the second dragon, that the first real one, not the tutorial dragon, because we decided to make the tutorial that dragon fight. But the second dragon that you face was one, I think it was based off of Taurus, and you had to climb on its back. And so
Yep.
we had to come up with a piece of terrain that moved, that then people could climb on top, that could hold like 150 people. And we did it. It was insane. I think it was Mike Wachowski that like finally got it up and running.
I'm sure that guy was a genius.
Oh my goodness, he was absolutely. We loved Mike so much. But
Gone too soon. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Mike. But here, look at this is what it looked like in Engine. Just
In pre-2000, what, 11? Right?
this
right in
is
that?
this is 2010, 2011
Amazing.
in Unreal 3. We did some bad things with that engine, but we made it absolutely beautiful. Like, look at this. This is Jotun Hessen Underground.
So cool.
So cool. There's an EverQuest zone, actually, the Dark Elf zone that was like in underground and in caves, and I love that we brought that forth. I think part of it was that EverQuest had gone again, like WoW did, the wrong direction. That we wanted to bring some of that magic back in the gameplay. Here's that dam.
Hey, Reese, I can answer that question in that we didn't know yet. We were doing everything we can. Technically, how do you keep the servers from coming to a halt? We just dreamed it, and then the engineers magically made it happen.
Yes, Reese's question is, how would you build the whole? How would the whole server participate without servers coming to a halt? Then everyone builds the infrastructure and supply line required, so a smaller cadre of the best competence could do the fight. Well, there was and with those server battles, it wasn't just combat. It was sometimes, like you're saying, a supply line, and like getting those, building the weapons, or working together to build the giant weapon that would be aimed at the dragon as it was coming in from space. And yes, Neriak was the EverQuest zone. Thank you so much for helping me remember my aging brain. And Tozeb says one lore guy dropped that Valiance was going to get destroyed. Yep, maybe. That was one of the options.
You could save it also.
Yeah, you could totally save it. And
there's a beautiful picture. I don't know if you have it in your scroll here, but of the top of that dam, the beautiful idyllic lake up there with the swan ships and stuff. Just,
oh goodness!
This is bringing back so many amazing memories.
There's the Colossi. This was my favorite race.
Yeah, I love the Colossi. They had those swirls and things because they were based on Greek sculptures and statues and stuff. And
yeah, they were statues come to life.
Yeah.
There's the Colossi. I think those are the humans. That's odd.
Boring old humans.
Boring old humans. Where's all the cool races? Here's Almir Valley again.
There's that beautiful architecture again.
The zone, we had 17 zones built for the MMO that were about 90% done. 17.
Wow. We won't get into the politics of why the whole thing came to an end, but I think this needs to come back.
Oh God, yes.
This needs to come back. This is just giving me chills. It's so beautiful.
It's like the work done. This is the all main racial image.
Yeah.
And the gnomes.
The gnomes. I remember the gnomes. Yeah.
The Doc Alfar. I think we saw the Virga.
And also, not to mention Bob's whole Well of the Souls idea and the way death worked and resurrection and things like that was also pretty cool. I know that they brought that into Reckoning, but I also thought that was pretty clever the way that was put together.
Yes, like there was so much internal consistency in the world in general. Oh, this was the zone for like. See, this is the war machine that you had to help build up in the tutorial zone when you were fighting the dragon. This is another view of it. Like these are the ships that were out in the bay. It's like you're at an outpost fighting back. And then this is the dragon's magic that was corrupting the forest on the front lines. DeMarcus did a lot of this zone design. He's absolutely.
DeMarcus is a beast.
So
do you have the picture of his turtle?
It's probably in here somewhere. This is like my grand collection of all the Copernicus stuff. This is some of it was supplied by our friend Tozeb here, because he's been like almost like the chronicler of all Amalur lore.
Fantastic.
Keeping the torch going.
These graphic images are so beautiful. This sort of angular. A little bit of, I know Dragon Age did some stuff like that, but I love the interpretation of the world in that angular style, almost like it's made out of glass.
Yeah, we made the animatics look all like that. So like when you started the game, it would do your racial introduction in that animatic style. It was so good.
That was Rich and Ben. I remember when they were first started putting together those animatics. Beautiful stuff.
Ben too, also very, very talented. Yeah, so these are all pulled down and stolen from some here's a Murchie dragon. But these were stolen from portfolios across yeah,
it's always nice when someone dumps their Amalur portfolio online. I do the same thing. I snatch them all.
Gotta keep the hope alive. And we've talked to THQ Nordic about this game and this IP. We actually, like, my secret hope for Haven has always been to bring the Amalur world back to life with Haven's gameplay, because that was the one thing that was missing in Copernicus. Was like, it wasn't fun to play. It just felt like something was lacking. But that's something that comes with lots of gameplay and, iteration time. But we were somewhat out of time by the time we were getting around to that. And we made the game somewhat backwards. And that's why we built Haven the way that we did. We built it Haven super, super lean, because we might, if we were lucky, maybe we'd get the whole Amalur lore and Haven would just be the next edition of an Amalur story.
Yeah, and that was by design too. The world, just the depth of the world was always paramount.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, you kind of got to make the game fun though too.
Well, 100%.
You want it.
So, yeah. So I think that's what I got. Thanks for walking down memory lane with me.
Wow, that was amazing. And you know what's also amazing? There's so much more. I mean, that's a great chunk, but there's so much more.
Christopher Main. Hi, Christopher. They did such an amazing job on the world. Yes. Yes, true. They did. Absolutely incredible. What do you think the world is missing by not having Amalur?
Our real world?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've always been a big Salvatore fan. And so, there was so much of him in the storytelling of that world that no one will get to see. So I'd probably say that. But what's interesting is a lot of folks have gone off and done the games that we've all played. So a lot of folks ended up at whether it was ArenaNet, whether it was Blizzard, any of the places that are out there. There's 38 Studios DNA everywhere now, and so at least that quality storytelling is out there. But the actual words that Bob wrote, and Todd McFarlane doesn't get a whole lot of credit either. I mean, because he was kind of a tangent, but there's a ton of him in there too, and you can really see it in the combat. When you play the combat in Reckoning, and the vibe of that combat is very much Spawn and McFarlane. So there's a lot of that stuff that I think Reckoning gives you a little taste of it, but Copernicus would have been. I mean, we'd all be living in that world right now.
Oh my goodness. Well, with Reckoning, it's so funny because Reckoning was another game that was being developed by Big Huge that was about a year out from launch. So when we acquired the company, both Todd and Bob Salvatore just jumped in 100%. And the combat in the original game was not fun at all. And it was Todd's touch that made that game so compelling and made it actually one of the best combat RPGs, like action RPGs ever.
I agree.
It really and if you can imagine that same sort of effect on an MMO and on MMO combat, like he just knew the theatrics that would make the combat go from just hitting things to feeling like you were really like getting in there and had impact with what you were doing. So good.
I also have a fun story that just popped into my mind. I used to have a monitor on my desk at 38 that had a camera trained on Todd's Wacom tablet. And so, I'd just be working along doing whatever, and I'd glance over to the side and all of a sudden start to see this genius demon thing come to life. And sometimes he'd even write, "Hi, Scott" on the screen, and then erase it really fast because he knew I was always watching him. But yeah, that was just being inside. Because the other thing that Todd would do that used to drive everybody crazy is we had a giant whiteboard. Our wall was a whiteboard. And when Todd would come in and he'd be giving his sessions to the team with a dry erase marker, he'd be drawing and erasing while he was drawing. And everyone's like, "No, it's an original McFarlane and it's gone." But to him, he was just always doing that. And then I remember as soon as he would leave the room, everybody would be like taking pictures of the boards, because even with just a black dry erase, that guy could just make magic. And gosh, another memory is he always used to tap his third eye when he'd talk. Todd was always going like this, and I was like, I wonder where that he's like accessing some energy field because he was
100%
tapping right there. And then he would draw these just ridiculous things. Everything he drew was insane. It was kind of a testament to, Kurt just not having any boundaries when he started the thing. He was like, "Oh, I think Ari Salvatore lives here in Boston somewhere. Let's get him." And Todd McFarlane rotoscoped me for a baseball toy once, and he makes really cool stuff. Let's get him. And just slowly,
because he could. He just had the gravity to like get anybody to the table, and it was proven by the team that was put together. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was.
Which is why you're the master of the universe, because it was like the power of the universe was wielded in that team, and Scott was the one orchestrating it all, and kicked us off on the journey that we went on.
I don't think that journey's dead. On a positive trajectory in those early days, because it was the Wild West. We had blank canvas everywhere to just do whatever we wanted, and getting that scoped in was really tough. But I won't take credit for putting pen to paper on any of that stuff. I just kind of herded the cats.
So that's what you do, is you herd cats? Is that your job description?
Yeah, basically that's what a game producer does. I don't think anybody actually has ever defined the role of a game producer. It's very malleable based on whatever company you happen to be in. But herding cats is definitely right up there at the top of the list. You have to be buzzword compliant so that people aren't trying to pass things by you and you can catch them. But other than that, it's just making sure everybody has all the obstacles cleared out of the way so that they can do what they do best. That's what I've done my whole career. I started at the Disney company, and I think that instilled like a quality bar. Like when you work at a company like that, from the very first day you start at the company, they show you this video, and I remember Kurt actually used to like this story too, called "Bumping the Lamps," and they show you a video of Roger Rabbit. And when they made that movie, the rabbit obviously was animated as well as his shadow. And there's a scene in that movie where they're chasing each other around a room and they bump a lamp so that it swings. And they didn't have to do that, but they did. And it made it incredibly difficult to animate the shadows, because while the lamp is swinging and there's a real human,
shadow has to move around.
There's a cartoon, there's a real human, there's all this other stuff. And that gets drilled into you, that whole notion of just quality, quality, quality. Yeah, it drives me crazy when people say something like, what is it, perfect is the enemy of the good or something like that. I'm like, no, not to me.
And that's the thing. Like, we struggle with that all the time, because we made the commitment early on to, like, we've been streaming our games since 2023 when we first started. We went out with the ugly. And so our game has been this incremental improvement over time. And those of you like who have been watching this whole time, thank you so much for supporting us and sticking with us as we've grown and as we've gone through this entire journey of building this game. But like, we are very much of like, well, if it's not out by Friday, it goes out no matter what. And as long as it functions, we have to have working software and we have to have it be playable. But it's not quite there. So we get a lot of pushback from, we're talking to producers that we're too early and that we're not quite there at the quality bar. And that we agree, but we would like funding to be able to take it to that next level, right?
And I think that's also knowing how the sausage is made. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a time, I mean, you're seeing it right now with all the early access stuff on Steam. I mean, there's a sweet spot when you can release it, because even if you put disclaimers all over it and say this is early access, you're still going to get blasted for not being perfect.
You're going to get blasted for not being release quality. And people are like, Subnautica 2 just came out in early access. And what is everybody calling out? The fish floating down the hallway, not the fact that it's still a hell of a lot of fun and it's a great game and it's a wonderful expansion of the world of Subnautica. No, it's the bugs and the fact that you can exploit it and that you can cheat, and it might actually kill the size or reduce the size of the full proper release.
Yeah, thanks to all the algorithms and stuff that drive that. Yeah, you're right. That's why, when we get into playing Haven, one of the things that struck me as I've been playing it and noodling around with it is that it's getting the mechanics in place, which is super important. You want to make sure that, because an MMO is an enormous undertaking. I like the way Unleashed is thinking about doing it not as this grand, enormous be-all end-all, well, like Copernicus, rather the other way around, which is getting the things that matter working. And I won't say art is easy, but scaling, once you get the game the way you like it, is a lot easier than getting it right, at the beginning. So
absolutely. And like, we limited it to, like, we have one race, 3 classes. Because if we can't get one race and 3 classes and maybe 2 genders feeling good, we won't be able to get a whole game that feels good. So you start with a small kernel, and within this world of live ops, there's no reason why. It's like, if people are paying a subscription, then they will expect in 3 months' time that they're going to get a second playable race. So you might as well build that into your product release cycle rather than having it all come out on day one. No early access, just have a tight experience up front that is tiny, and then grow as you go.
I think that's the right way to do it. I mean, obviously you've been down the road a few times with MMOs, and so we saw
$133 million get set on fire. And we just went through what was all set on fire, which is heartbreaking.
That's a lot of money, but and what's funny is it's all right there. And not funny, but it's the evidence is there that money was spent, but you need another 133 million to get the thing to, maybe not that much. I mean, obviously that was a grand design, but we got to start somewhere. And I think doing it right, even with a very focused design and focused budget's expensive.
Yep. Chris Main says it's just the state of MMOs, especially indie MMOs. You got to build in the public and get attention, and that's it, right? Is we're banking on this faith that the right audience will find us and the right people, and that's the kind of our challenge now, is to get publishers to even pay attention to us, is to get people into this community, people joining us, and people sharing with their friends. So please, if you're watching this, share about Haven to your friends and your family and folks that are the gamers in your lives, because we just need people. We need people subscribing to our YouTube channel, subscribing to our Twitch, and signing up for our alpha. We have right now 853 people signed up on our mailing list. I want that number to go up. But also, we're talking about building out a Steam page so that we can start streaming these live streams on Steam. And maybe it's about building our community on that particular channel where people are looking for games.
That's where the gamers are. Yep.
Right. Oh, look. Reese Holland says Ashes of Creation was $100 million plus, and it ended so tragically. May that beautiful game rest in peace. We've actually had some folks from Intrepid on the stream in the last few weeks. They came on shortly after the layoffs. It's a disaster, but this happens time and time again, because it's not like we have all these grand ideas with MMOs to make this huge, massive world. Remember when Asheron's Call 2 was supposed to be like 10,000 kilometers squared, which was like larger than any possible, like you can't cross that in game in a single day walking for 24 hours. It was so big. And like we think that MMOs need to be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, when I think it's just all about being multiplayer. Like, just make multiplayer work.
Yeah, I think you and I were talking about this just in casual conversation a couple of weeks ago. I remember very early on, early 38 Studios days when my kids were much younger. I came home from work and I was studying. It was a new, I think it was the Dark Elf world in World of Warcraft, and I was studying the trees. And if you zoom in on the leaves, they have these little spirals, these beautiful little things. And we were kind of getting some. We were, the Night Elf zone. We were looking at. No, it wasn't Night Elves. I don't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Blood Elves. It was Blood Elves. I remember my daughter coming in and asking, "What's that?" And saying, "Oh, this is a game where you adventure in this fantasy world, and other people are in there with you." And a character ran by at the time, and I said, "Oh, that right there, that was a real person that just ran by." And I remember the look on her face was like, that's interesting. And this is pretty early in the world in multiplayer, but there was a spark there, that idea that, oh, there's other people in this world, not just me, and we can adventure together. And then later, I think I was telling you the story too, that my daughter and her sister figured out how to get somebody to send them to a zone where they had no business being, buying like some pair of sunglasses or something, putting them in a mailbox, fencing them back on the other side of the kingdom, and making a bunch of money, then buying a bunch of pretty dresses, running up to the top of a tower, and video capturing themselves jumping off of towers in pretty dresses. That was it. That's what their $14.99 a month got them.
And that is exactly what MMOs are for, not necessarily for like the grand stories that a developer is telling. No, it's about for the silly shenanigans and hijinks that players come up with in the world's ultimate virtual playground.
Who wants to go kill 15 rats? Come on, let's go run up the tower and jump off and film ourselves doing it.
In pretty dresses. Absolutely. Speaking of pretty dresses, do you want to play Haven?
No. Oh, yeah.
We're just going to keep talking. Oh, no, it's been a really great conversation. I hate to interrupt it with like actual gaming, but like Don actually said he had to go because he's got another meeting. He missed seeing the game because we've been reminiscing so much.
Great to see you, man.
It's all good. It's all good. Can you share your screen, my friend? Yeah, so we did this a little bit differently because Scott actually jumped in last night after he got the build and already has been playing.
let me see here. Since the windowed version takes up my whole screen, let me see if I can do this elegantly. If I share the window with the pretty landscape, it looks like this. Can you see that? Well, it looks very dark right now.
Yep, wrong. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Did you want me to show the cinematic? Because I skipped it, sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay.
All right, I'm Sir Scott a lot.
Very good, very good.
I've already gone through character creation. I know the last several streams, folks have gone from scratch, but yeah, I already created my character, and I will enter the world.
Chris Main says the massive large world concept needs to go. It causes so much technical debt that leads to optimization debt that leads to massive content designer debt, and filling in the world to feel alive and have points of interest is almost impossible, and the costs never end. It's so true.
That is true.
Absolutely.
Yes. So here I am in the little starter spawn zone. Might as well go grab these as long as I'm here. So one thing that really struck me when I first started playing was, like I mentioned earlier, right now it's still pretty rough. I mean, obviously you can see the elements, but it's not finished product. But it does all the things. It's starting to do all the things that you want it to do. So this little shrine here is where I can get healed up. That's the person that gives me the quests. I have to go hack through this over here. But the basis of everything is coming together. So down here is where I've got my little house under construction. Oh, we got to kill this guy. Let me buff myself a little bit.
I think actually we just found a server instance bug, and I ended up in your instance, and you are in mine.
Ah.
Maybe, I don't know. Because I see a whole bunch of houses built, and I'm like, oh, this must be what Scott built.
Just one. Well, let's see what I've got here. So, but you can see this is, I don't know if you want me to, just
yeah, please, yes.
But it's great that
your feedback.
Combat's here, loot is here. You've got buffs here. I've already gone into my inventory and not that one. That one. Sorry, my HUD is just below the level of my screen because I'm windowed, so I'm guessing on some of these. So you can see like the equipment stuff is all taken care of.
Everything is existing. It's not polished at all.
Yeah, you worded it better than me. Yeah, this is where my house is in my instance, I think. Because I wasn't. Oh no, is it? Well, I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm in a different instance.
Oh no, it looks like that's your house, and you got a potato.
Oh, I had a chicken coop behind my house last night.
The server didn't crash.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, but yeah, one thing that I think is really cool is like this thing here, you can build your own beacon to send yourself home. So if you click on it, it requires each one of these gems in order to complete the construction, which I don't have any anymore. Yeah, I built it in my instance.
Yeah, I've got a beacon up next to a house.
One thing I love is that
I see your chicken coop.
One thing I love is that I can loot the chicken. Actually, not loot the chicken. Take the chicken. And then, but yeah, I like the crafting mechanic that you can just come over. You can build a thing. So you've got the building mechanic already in, which is great. That looks good. And then, do I have what I need to build it? Yeah, I do. So I just spend the wood, add the wood, and then I get a little bit of comic text here. And then I can house my chicken. Now I'm happy.
Yeah. Reese asks, what engine is this in? This is built in Unity, actually.
Now, the one thing that I didn't do last night that I wanted to save for the playthrough is I didn't go to those quest trees. Let me get on a mount here. I like the horse. So I like that you have a horse and like a dragon thing, which is pretty cool. And the cat. But I prefer the horse. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to MMOs.
But they're all spirit creatures for now.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Where is that? There's a little. I remember there was a rise, and then at the top of the rise, there was 3 trees I could teleport from. Is it up here?
Up. Yep, it sure is.
Now these I haven't experienced. It says that you can go to a dungeon in one of these.
Yes.
All right. Well, first I might as well harvest because I know I need those gems.
Yes, you do.
But there's no Fatui yet. And so I just kind of bonked into the walls for a while until I figured it out. It did not take long at all to figure out the mechanics. The movement mechanics, the looting mechanics are all super intuitive.
Well, that's a bright side. That's a positive.
I took away all the emotes and I put my potions in the interface. Not surprising because it's Irina. The interface is clean.
It still needs more work. I look at this and rue all the time I spend fundraising and not optimizing the UI.
All right. So do I want to go to Kabalmat's lair yet?
Well, that one is the Golem lair. Let's go to the dungeon, which is the one in the middle, and I'll meet you there.
All right. I'm teleporting to dungeon. Oh, and if you're in this world too, I would love to check out the sharing mechanic. Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
How do I emote? Do I just do like a wave like that? No.
No, you got it. It might be in the.
I threw it away. It was in this bar, but I threw it away. Is it down here somewhere?
It's in the skills menu, which is the book icon at the bottom. But yeah, this is where like better UI would help.
Oh, there we go.
Quite a bit.
Okay, so I can. I'll put this in my horse slot. There we go. I wave with my shield. All right, cool. Where do we go?
Well, it's gonna be you and me. We got this.
This way?
Yes, and if you hit the gear in the upper right hand corner near the mini map, you can turn down the volume of the music.
Oh, are you hearing the? Oh yeah.
It's kind of echoing back in.
Got it. Oh lordy, there's a lot of those little guys.
Yup.
All right. Is there any buff that you have that I don't that you could give me?
Oh, absolutely. And do you have a buff you could give me?
I think so. I've aggroed 2 of them.
That's okay. Congratulations.
Hey, check us out. All right, so I've never done that before. So if I wanted to give you like this one, I click on you.
You can give me no, the buff in slot number 6. There you go. Thank you.
There you go. All right.
And so strategically, I always recommend setting up a fire.
And what is the will-o-wisp that's following me around?
So that is a sylph. And this is something that we haven't fully developed, but currently the sylph leaves a trail of sparkles so that you can be found in a zone and it will show you your path, but it's very subtle. But the intention is that that's a character that's going to travel with you and kind of be your first time user experience. And also be a character that's customizable. So that mount that you're riding around on, that's actually a sylph mount. So that would be turning your sylph into a mount.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool.
And so you would have eventually, like, those would be custom cosmetics where if you wanted to, like, this is what we're thinking about kind of roughly. But the sylph is this magical creature and your access to magic, but it can also change shape into either creatures that help you in battle or creatures that help you in crafting. And that's kind of another player progression point is your relationship with yourself.
Got it. And it's always with me. I love that.
Like it does things like when you're in combat, you'll see it goes over the creature to tell you which one you have targeted and which one is like hitting you.
That's cool.
It's got some basic function right now, and we have dreams of even more complex gameplay in the future.
Love it.
It's one of those things where it's a little bit too complicated to develop for the time being.
So, and I like what we were talking about earlier about how the game design really leans into the cooperative nature. I'm looking forward to going back and building a house and seeing how we both give each other resources to do that. Wow, this is a target-rich environment, as they say.
Yes. It's like going to a conference for fundraising, except they all say no.
Who are you getting money from?
Nobody.
Tentacle creatures?
I'm just getting beaten by the targets.
And do the little colored sparklies above certain monsters mean something different?
No, those are that they have loot.
Ah, I see.
Oh no, stop hitting me, Kraken Root.
Hooray.
You leveled up again?
I did. I'm 7 now. I'm a monster.
Good job.
And I know how valuable resources are. So while we're walking along, I'm just going to be carving things up.
That's what we're going for. Reese asks, are there plans for collaborative meeting interactions like dance-offs or card and dice games? Dance-offs, yes, absolutely. But we haven't necessarily figured out like card and dice games. That's an interesting thought. That I remember playing a game called Diplomacy and God, what was Brad McQuaid's second game? My brain is failing me. But there like have been some really great games. Or what was the name of the game in The Witcher? Friends. Gwent.
The Gwent
that was super cool.
Yeah. Silly name. Should I attack this guy?
Yeah, we have no other choice.
All right. Yipes,
You got some health potions?
Go away, toothless.
But again, if you can imagine, like all of these creatures, these are all just asset store purchases that we've modified. This is not our final art in the slightest.
I like that you've got some interesting flight logic to like when they get damaged, they try to get away and so forth.
Yeah, the creatures have self-preservation and like aggro intelligence, so it will turn and like attack the weakest member of your group. All the stuff that you would expect out of great like MMO creatures.
Yeah, again, like all the basics are here. That's what's and functional, which is great. I'm assuming that that's a texture issue and not some sort of dark lightning pool thing.
I think that there's a shader bug there. Thank you, Reese. Reese reminded me it was in Vanguard, the diplomacy game, and that was how you did dialogue with NPCs and got information and like clues on quests and stuff.
Does this sparkly thing mean anything?
Yes, go stand on it.
Standing right on it. Okay.
Okay, and then turn around so you face the wall.
Right.
You ready? Watch.
I think so. Whoa! Check it out. Was that a pressure plate, or did you do something?
No, those are pressure. It was a pressure plate. We have to go stand on it together. It's like a little Zelda challenge.
Ah, I see. I didn't see you standing behind me. Very cool. So therefore, if you're not grouped with somebody, you're kind of out of luck.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find another way around. I don't even know if there is one. But it's that kind of stuff that we have peppered all throughout the game.
That's good. Great proof of concept. I have more mana potions than I need, but I love it. And there's a cooldown timer on the potions, right? So you can't just chug them one after another.
Absolutely.
All right, we got a bridge to build. What would I do? Would I knock over a tree? Do I need wood?
I don't know.
Do I need wood?
How do you build things in the game?
I give them wood. Not sure what to click upon though. Oh, it's this way. Here?
Wait. Oh, wait. Hold on. I clicked on. Yeah, there. No, click on the railing. Is it on the hitbox? Like the. You have to keep clicking on the bridge. I don't know why it's being difficult. Where's the hitbox?
I need sparkles.
Seriously. I
It's
had it
good.
up just a second ago. Why is this not showing up? Okay, hold on. I'm getting rid of my backpack. There we go. There we go. I got it. Hold on.
Oh, cool.
I'm adding.
Oh, 50 wood.
Oh, you got it too. Okay, I just added 37.
And I just added 13.
And I have 10 rock.
And I have 4,
Let's
but
go.
10 will do.
Let's do this.
So. That was good. Nice example of cooperation.
Got to work together. You need a lot of resources to rebuild this bridge. Reese said, I love diplomacy and similar Might and Magic card games. Gwent is cool. Splatoon had even had a card game. Actually, our senior game designer, Mike Lyons, worked on the Might and Magic games. So, like, very strongly influenced by those titles. Old school RPGs run deep in our veins.
Yes. Ooh, he's creepy.
Yup.
He doesn't look like a friend.
No. Oh, my goodness. This whole zone looks different. Oh, I love the kind of Stranger Things kind of vibe that that Chris put in this zone. Do you think we can take him down?
Of course we can.
Do we believe in us? Hold on, I'm buffing myself up.
Oh.
Oh, did you already aggro? Okay.
Yeah. Maybe.
Okay, well, this is fine. This is fine.
Leroy Jenkins.
Hold on, I have this 4 spell move that is very stunning.
And you don't need multiple clicks, right? Once you're engaged, it goes off an auto. Yeah, it even says.
Yeah, you hit auto attack on the position number 1, and use your healing and mana potions early and often.
He's enshrouded in darkness. And where is... Oh, there it is up there. He's a Wendigo. He's beating the crap out of me. If I get out of proximity, can he still hit me? He's got to come get me.
Oh, you're going to come get you? Yeah, you can kite him.
I'm going to get you.
How's your health? Do you have a health potion?
I'm in trouble. My health potion's still timered.
Oh, you're dead. Oh,
Am I going to go all the way back to the start?
You're going to end up back at home.
Uh-oh. I'm coming.
Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to get to me. I think I'm going to die long before you get here.
Some companion I am.
Oh, and I'm dead. Womp womp. Well,
Wow.
Did you figure out last night that you can upgrade your gear?
No.
So if you build a workbench, you can.
Oh, I saw that, but then you have to go get a lot of resources to do it, right?
A base workbench should be pretty minimal for now.
No, I mean once you have the workbench built.
Yes.
To upgrade equipment, you need quite a bit of stuff.
Oh yes, you sure do.
Oh, I need to build a beacon before I can build a workbench. Bummer.
All right. Well, what's your username?
Scotty C. All one word.
All lowercase.
Capital S, capital C. I want the cat.
You want the cat.
Aha, I've got a cat in my inventory now. Well, as long as we're cruising around, let me go find some crystals and we'll get that beacon going.
How am I?
Or if you can get me back to my instance, I have a workbench.
Well, you can use a cheat. If you type /V, and then you can type in my name, capital Jihan. Jihan.
Space or no?
Yes, with a /V space Jihan.
Boom. There we go. Hooray! There's my house.
Right next to my house. We collided instances.
Yeah, I was building a windmill here, but I didn't have the stuff for it. But let me go over to my my workbench is inside your house, or whatever this foundation is. Can I sneak it to it? I can get to it.
Yep, you sure can. I was
No,
about
that's
to.
the build. That's the build site. Oh shoot! It won't let me get to the workbench.
I was going to build another workbench.
Ah, I got in there. Oh, I'm clipped into the house.
Collision.
It sees it all as a workbench, as a build site. Oh. Well.
Yeah, the click volume probably dominates.
And so the one of the mechanics that you mentioned in the quick start was if you have a fire near where you're fighting, you basically get a little bit of boost. Is that right? I like that idea. We should have built a fire instead of that, next to that Stranger Things guy.
Oh yeah, we should have. But you had to go in and attack the guy.
Well, I'm a fighter. That's kind of my style.
Fitting. Uh-oh. Did the server crash? No, you're still moving around.
I'm still moving.
I'm like broken. Hold on. I'm going to try relaunching and seeing if I can come back in. So yeah, one of the things...
Because oh no, never mind. It worked. Yeah, I got blasted.
Hello, Jane. Jane Whitaker is joining us. And Dave Mata and Reese Holland are talking about cooking. Y'all, we want a cooking system. Actually, that's one of the things that we want to work on next is adding, like when you lay down a fire, that you can actually cook some of the things that you acquire.
I love that. Fish. Whoops, I just bombed out. Let me
Yeah, I think the server just went down. Oh no, the server is up.
All right, here, let me jump back in.
I'm going into GCP.
Am I still sharing, or did it blast the sharing too?
Yeah, it killed the sharing. That's okay.
It's all good. Work in progress.
Yeah, I think the server's having a hard time. Yep.
Is it down?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm stalled on the server handshake.
Yep.
Oh, I'm in.
Got some. Oh, maybe it's just being slow.
Yeah, because these screens were just clipping last time, and now they're taking forever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it took me to character creation. Let's quit out of that. Yeah, I think we might have a server problem.
I'm going to ask our dutiful Moonforge.
Try one more time. We can go back to telling Amalur's story. Here we go. Yeah, it's doing that thing again where it's taking quite a long time to handshake. Beautiful loading screen, though.
Thank you. Jan made that. like he came up with this concept. He showed it to us as an animated GIF, and like we all rallied and we're like, "Oh my god, we have to put that in game now."
I can see why.
It's very evocative. Yeah, I can't seem to log in.
Yeah.
Well,
same.
you know, we died to a boss. We started to like turn around and gear up,
Share stuff,
and
craft stuff. Now I want to
share
know.
stuff and craft stuff.
So I did when I was playing last night. So when you go to the crafting table, it lists everything in text that you need. And so I'm assuming, like, I don't know where to get cotton yet. There's some things that I need to go find, but I'm assuming that's maybe in the dungeon, because I looked all over the base world for that stuff and couldn't find it. So are there different
When
things
you
in
build
the
a
dungeon?
beacon and you go to Adventureland, all the cotton is in
Adventureland, of
Adventureland.
course. What was I thinking?
But that's actually something that we're also kind of working on now. And you know, this is where like you and I have been talking about how we craft like the experience to feel like Adventureland is clearly like a programmer name for our procedurally generated zones. But that is the Dark Forest, and that's supposed to be a place of mystery and then it reveals its name once you find a certain landmark there and uncover the mystery of what it is in the first place.
Very cool.
But that's the type of stuff that still needs to be infused into the world of Haven.
Yeah, well, once you get them basic engine mechanics done and working, which you feels like you have, it's time to start bringing in those type of things, and also a little breadcrumbing, because I know I spent a lot of time just riding around and finding things on my own. But you know, if the quest giver was able to give you a little nudge, especially at level 1, when I'm still kind of figuring it out. But like you said, the little will-o-wisp is going to be your helper, and if they're offline right now and just sort of flying around, it sort of makes sense that they're not there offering their help yet. But that's a good mechanic to be laying in next. That sort of the breadcrumbing in the maps, and beacon on the map and things like that.
All the things that let the player know what's going on when.
Yeah, to lead them to those mechanics that are in there. They're just not stitched together yet. But it looks great. I mean, you can, pardon me, you can start to feel the vibe. That's what I really like about it. It's coming together. And then, I know the writers that you have involved are amazing storytellers. So I also can't wait for that. That sort of why am I here part to come in, because that's not there yet. Obviously, you can make up your own story, I guess. But I'm sure when the lore starts coming together, it's going to really sing.
Yep. It's kind of the last piece that helps you connect. But the pieces are there. I'm glad that you were playing last night and kind of got there on your own and got to experience it as a player, rather than just like coming in and playtesting it in this context.
Well, you can also start to feel like why you need other people in there with you, and that sort of desire to bring other people in. Although you can run around and do it yourself, suddenly you could start to see the kernel of that when you and I got in there. It's like, oh, I have this many wood and you have that many wood, and let's build that bridge. Otherwise, I'd still be out there chopping trees right now.
Yes.
Although we wouldn't be dead, so there's that.
We wouldn't be dead, but we respawn. There's the magic of respawning in the Well of Souls.
See, it all ties back. It all ties back.
If we can't get the game that we wanted to build, we'll bring little bits and pieces, bits and bobs into the next games we make, right? This is what we're doing.
Well, and the teleportation system that you have in there would enable you to stitch things in smaller bites, rather than having to build the entire world. Maybe one of those pillars is is one world, not or one zone within a world, rather than an entire world itself. So certainly the expandability is right there, because you've got that little core. Like if I build my house there and my bench there, I'm always going to want to come back to the hub, but then I'm going to want to go out and jump in a pillar that maybe takes me to something completely different.
it takes you to a boss or into a zone and finding like you needed to go out into a zone to find cotton, but a different zone has, you know, cactus spines that you need to be able to create your suit of armor. All
Yeah,
of
and
these things.
you could even make them non-combat zones, just like hangout zones or adventure storyland zones and things like that, where not everything is out to kill you all the time, but it's kind of a pleasant place to go and run around and maybe do a story or something.
Absolutely.
So many possibilities.
I love this, and I love your ideas, and I love that you came and joined us on stream, and we
Let's
got
do
to
it
talk
again.
about
That was
all
fun.
the lore. 100%. Thank you so much for being along for the ride and meeting the team and offering your legendary perspective, and maybe we can do some fun things with this.
I think so. The potential's huge.
It is.
Yeah, go make it big.
That's the next trick. So speaking of making it big, friends, if you're watching, thank you so much for joining us. Please like, subscribe, like our LinkedIn channel, our YouTube channel, our Twitch channel. The more people that connect with us there, the better it is for us. And all it takes is a simple little click. And you'll get notified. We're here on stream every single Friday with a new guest. And we really want to be pushing for a drive to let as many people know about this game as we possibly can. So your help is imperative to be able to get us through to that next milestone, because publishers are interested in what we're building, but they want to know, do people actually care? Do people want a game like this? Do they want a kind of casual, family-friendly MMO that still has like the thrill and adrenaline that comes with playing an action RPG, but in a kind of softer, more cozy packaging? That's what we're aiming for. And we love having you all along for the ride. And same with you, Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Come, cozy MMO lovers, come hang out with us every Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and we will catch you next week. Thank you.
Thanks,
so
Irina.
much.
That was really
Bye.
fun.
Yeah, same. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hit that button and buy a t-shirt with a dragon on it, and that will help us keep making some awesome games. Looks like this. I've already seen a Unleashed t-shirt out in the wild that I wasn't wearing, and I'm super excited about seeing more of them. So, yeah, buy a t-shirt.